How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL live stream. We got the microphone down today, which means it's a deadline stream. It's 6 a.m. for me, and if you're on the East Coast, it's probably even earlier. If you're on the West Coast, it's even earlier than that. If you're in the UK, it's probably just after breakfast time, so you're probably okay. But yeah, we are here for the Game Week 6 deadline stream. I have a transfer to make, which is why the title of the stream is Live Transfers. It's probably not going to be plural, but we're definitely going to do at least one. How's it going, Iowas? Glad that you can join us. Also like to make a shout out to Dipper_1868. Thank you for the follow while we were offline. And DKS Man, thank you for the follow as well. So yeah, we're going to be doing a live transfer. We're going to take a look at the season ticker. We're going to take a look at the goals imminent table in the Fantasy Football Scout members area. And we're going to do, obviously, our live transfers and update the watch list, as we normally do. So yeah, let's talk about Fantasy Football Scout. So if you don't know by now, where have you been? Fantasy Football Scout is a fantastic tool. It's what we're going to be using today to take a look at some of the fixtures as well as the goals imminent table and much more. Customizable stats tables in the members area as well as various different tools to help elevate your FPL game. So use the link in the about section, or if you're watching this VOD later on, use it in the description below, and it'll help you get your membership and guide you for that. It's very straightforward. There's usually a preseason offer as well, which usually you can get 20% off, but during the season it's $24.99, I think, in British pounds, which I think is a fantastic offer. It ends up working out being just like a couple of pounds a month, basically, which is, I think, a fantastic deal when you get such great value for it. So it's going to help elevate your FPL game. So yeah, without further ado, let's check out the team. So, this is the team as it stands. We have a bit of an issue in our midfield because we probably need to take out Mason Mount because I'm not sure how long he's going to be out for. Because if he comes in for the Champions League fixture and then doesn't play the Southampton game, then it's kind of a bit of a problem. So, we're going to have to kind of fix things up for that, which is not ideal. And I don't really want to play Ailing. If Simicast was available, we'd play him because it'd be, nice and easy. So we'll be keeping an eye on Twitter if there's anything Liverpool related. We'll also be keeping an eye on Manchester United and Man City team news potentially as well. But I'm not banking on it, basically. So yeah, Mason Mount's probably going to be the transfer out, and we can go through those options as well. Just looking at the fixtures though, we got Chelsea and Man City right off the start, as well as United and Villa playing at the same time. Now, if you're, if you played FPL a long time, you're probably wondering why there are two fixtures at the same time. Well, basically there's a concert of some kind, I think a music concert, and I believe it's at Old Trafford. So basically what they had to do is they had to move it up. So yeah, unfortunately both games are going to be at the same time. So, but yeah, great start to the day. Then we got 4 fixtures at the 11 o'clock slot, which is the 3 p.m. slots for the UK. We got Everton Norwich, Leeds West Ham, Leicester versus Burnley, and Watford versus Newcastle. And then lastly, the end off the day, Brentford and Liverpool, with Southampton Wolves, the North London derby between Arsenal and Spurs on Sunday, and to round it off, Crystal Palace versus Brighton on Monday. So it should be interesting. What are my thoughts on Ailing long term? I'd be getting rid, to be honest. If I had no other issues like in the team, and I didn't have a wild card or something. I mean, if I did have a wild card, I'd be getting rid of him regardless. But Leeds defense just hasn't worked out really. I mean, if we look at the returns, I mean, he got a goal in the first game week, but nobody was probably playing him then for the most part, and then a bunch of 1s and 2s, so it's not great. The fixtures, yeah, I mean, the fixtures are great, but he's going to be playing at center back. They can concede to literally anyone. I mean, if they can concede a goal to Burnley and Newcastle, I mean, West Ham, Watford, Southampton, Wolves, even Norwich could all potentially score against them. So yeah, I don't think it's great personally. Want to go for Trent Alexander-Arnold, Alonso, Rudiger, and Cancelo in defense with Duffy as a bench option. Yeah, I mean that looks like a great looking defense if you're going 4-4-2. Um, Actually, while I'm thinking of it, let's put that team into action. So if we were, if you're planning future stuff, you got what? Cancelo, Alonso, who's it? Rudiger as well. Rudiger, Duffy. You would need to make 2 million somewhere if you wanted a 4.5 goalkeeper. So I'll just keep Sanchez as an example. You would need to downgrade somewhere else. Which would probably mean either, I mean, you drop down like a Mason Mount to like a Rafinha if you wanted to get a little bit of extra money, and then you need 1.6 there, and then you can go from like Ings to like Armstrong. So I can see that team potentially working. You would normally play 4 at the back, and then you can basically pick and choose your, whether it's 4 in midfield or 3 up front if you wanted to. You could do Dennis as a bench fodder. Then that's perfectly fine. And then you can upgrade one of your, your midfielders to something better. That's definitely possible. If you wanted to upgrade your goalkeeper a little bit, you could. One of your midfielders, like I said, could be upgraded as well. It's very easy to do. If you have Lukaku as well, I mean, you're looking, you're looking at an extra 2 million if you wanted to. So if you wanted to upgrade even more, you could. So yeah, I mean you could do that. It's definitely viable. My problem is that the amount of midfielders that are available at the moment. So if you just look at the midfielders that are available that are being consistent, you got Salah, he's going to be a mainstay. That just makes the most sense. Ben Rama, Gameweek 8 onwards, his fixtures get not great, basically. So he's going to be on his way out. Greenwood's going to be a rotation risk. He's on his way out. Sar's fixtures, they're not great after game week 7, basically, on a consistent level. So he's going to be out. Gallagher, do we really want to go there? Not particularly. His fixtures are okay. So it's a bit tricky. Torres, if he was starting game in, game out, from this run onwards, City look pretty good, but it's about nailing that person down. So maybe Grealish. Son. Not really convinced by Spurs, but this little run here looks very enticing. So it's a bit tricky, I think. Good evening, Pilot Flame for Hazard. Good morning from my side. Glad that you could join us. Seems like we're tied at 8 going into game week 6. Oh, are we tied in the league? Oh, okay. Did not know that. But I mean, there's going to be a lot of teams tied on the same number of points for probably up until game week 10 or 12, I would usually think, and then teams start to get their own individual scores, as it were. But yeah. My plan long term is Sanchez and Steele, Duffy, Trent, Cancelo, Rudiger, Alonso, Salah, Rafinha, Jota, Ben Rama, Brownhill, Lukaku, Antonio, and Dennis. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I would also say don't write off Danny Ings either. Like, Danny Ings is a as a pick. I mean, he's fourth highest or fifth highest scoring forward. You know, 4 returns in 5. Fixtures from game week 8 to 13 are great. Then they're not great. Antonio's fixtures from, 14 onwards are extremely good. So if you wanted to keep Ings up until game week 14 and then get off him and go to Antonio again, you can do that. So keep Antonio when he's fit. I mean, yeah. I mean that's perfectly fine. He can be a good option. If Wilson was fit, these fixtures are pretty good, and these fixtures after are pretty good too. But it's just, when is Wilson going to be back? Because I prefer him over St. Maximin, to be honest. Bamford, I mean, these fixtures are great, but is he going to be back? So, we don't know. Everton, they're kind of all over the place at the moment. Pookie, don't really want to go there, to be honest. Adam Armstrong looks great. I mean, for wildcarders, he looks great. And if you have that extra midfielder, then he has great fixtures from game week 9 to game week 18. So if he bangs in a couple here, he could be the next new thing. It's just a matter, do you trust Southampton, to be honest? Edward could be interesting. I do like him for these couple here with the Newcastle fixture. I think that could be quite good. But it's just a matter of when they're going to be, if they're going to be good. Jimenez has been disappointing, hasn't scored all season. So we still have to wait on that front. So yeah. Let me change this back to the watch list. We'll do that in just a second. Tempted to go Shaw for Alonso for -4, but don't see it working out. Yeah, defenders with a -4 are pretty difficult to kind of get right. Just had a big old yawn there. Big swig of water will fix it. Looks like we go for Bamford to Dennis and getting in Chelsea next week. Yeah, getting in Chelsea next week is probably fine. That's what I'm going to do as well. My transfer, I wish I could have Mount for next week, but it doesn't look like it. So Mount's going to come out for somebody, maybe a 2-week punt of some kind or whatever. And then I can have enough money to, if depending on what player I take out, to get rid of Ayling or Veltman or Simicast or whoever. And bring in a Chelsea defender of my choice. That's kind of what we're going to go for. Let's take a look at the watch list. So Mendy, I think he's definitely going to stay there. I think, fixture-wise, he could be just the goalkeeper set and forget. Just kind of leave him there until forever, basically. When I take in Alonso, Chilwell will play. Hopefully that's not the case if you go for that. Raya, another clean sheet last week. 3 clean sheets in 5. Brentford doing quite well. Saab, we're going to remove him. We're going to remove him from the watch list because Wolves are I just don't trust them at all. Alonso's on there. Diaz is on there. Castella's on there. James is on there as well. We're going to add some players as well. Semedo, don't want him. Don't want Wolves defense. No, thank you. Sar, Gray, Decore. Yeah, I'm not going to bring them any this week, and then after that, I don't want them, so I'm going to remove them from the watch list. Don't really care about them. Torres will stay on there. Fornals I have on here because he could potentially be someone for a couple weeks, and he would be a great differential. So we're going to be looking to, he could be our transfer in. Jota and Grealish. Jota, I don't care about, to be honest. If I was going to have him for just this 1 week, then yeah, sure. But Firmino being back, no interest whatsoever. Rafinha's still there. Havertz, double Chelsea defense plus Lukaku rules him out. Mason Mount, I mean, he's been a pretty bad transfer. We brought him in, he got a 0, then a 1, and now a 0 again. So he's going to be gone. Trincao and Traore, don't want them at all. Have no interest in Wolves anymore. Jamie Vardy, he's been slowly going about his business, to be honest, Jamie Vardy. And we'll hang on to him because he could be something that might be differential on the wild card on this list. Jesus, with the likes of Foden and De Bruyne coming back, I don't think his interest is of need because I think there's better mid-price strikers. St. Maximin will stay on there. Lukaku, Dennis, Bamford, don't want him anymore. Don't care about the Leeds fixtures. We'll just go Rafinha. Adam Armstrong definitely interested in Richarlison, not anymore. Adam Armstrong and Edward will stay on there for the time being. Jimenez, again, unless he shows me something, I have no interest in him. So if he scores, then he'll start to pique my interest because then he can go on a run. Watkins, maybe for game week 8, but for now, not really gonna be looking at him. Again, he has to get off the score sheet as well. Crazy to bench Lukaku against City? Yes, that is crazy. Any points of keeping Omobamidele? Probably not. If you're on a wild card or something, I would get rid of him for a defender that you know is probably going to play that's cheap. So Brandon Williams, Livramento, those two basically. So yeah, the watch list is slim right down. So we got 1, 2, 6, 11, 14, 17. So we got 17 players so far. So who do I want to add to the watch list? I do want to personally add Ramsdale because I think that could be interesting. Arsenal's fixtures are pretty decent, and a 4.5 million goalkeeper just because he could be interesting. To be honest, and then I would also add Kieran Tierney just because he could be if he stays fit, he could be okay. And then the Arsenal attack doesn't really, they don't really score too many goals, so I'm not really interested. Aston Villa, no. Brentford, no. Brighton, probably not. Burnley, no. Chelsea, that's a weird. You see, I don't know if you guys can see this is a crazy. Can see this crazy name. I don't know why his name's messed up in FPL, but it's their third string goalkeeper. Not on wildcard, just thinking of him or Duffy as bench. I mean, yeah, Duffy would be the better bench player, to be honest. Hi, MarkGod765. Thank you for the follow as well. Much appreciated. Glad that you could join us. Rudiger is definitely going on the watch list for sure. I'm also going to put Azpilicueta on there as well. I'm going to put Azpilicueta on there. And then everyone else on Chelsea, like literally just Chelsea defense, their keeper, is the ones we're looking at. Everton, no. Leeds, no. Leicester, no. Liverpool, no. City, yeah, De Bruyne. Put De Bruyne on the watch list. And we'll also put Phil Foden on the watch list too, just because they're the new returnees, and we'll see what they can do. Man United, no. Newcastle, no. Norwich, no. Southampton, no. Spurs, no. Watford, no. West Ham, no. And Wolves. So yeah, this is the watch list as it stands, so we got 3 goalkeepers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defenders, 10 players total there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in midfield. 4 out of the 7 are City. So that's 17, and then we got 6 forwards, so 23 total for the watch list, which is a nice slimline watch list that we can kind of maintain. It's a very useful tool. So yeah. And we'll change this back to all players. And we'll go back to the main team and take a look at the chat. Do we think that we can learn anything from Chelsea defense from the Champions League this week? Potentially. We definitely could. If we start to see a situation where, you know, whoever Chelsea's playing, you know, if Ben Chilwell is just playing, you know, this week's Champions League game, then almost certainly Alonso is probably going to play on the weekend. If that's the case. If we start to see a situation where it's like Chilwell, then Chilwell, then Chilwell, then it's like, okay, well, then maybe Alonso is coming out of the team. And then Alonso becomes a rotation risk, and then we have to go for a bit more conservative picks, like Antonio Rudiger, like Azpilicueta, or even Mendy. So, yeah. That's what could potentially happen. So, I'm kind of tinkering around with the idea of just going straight forward. Like, if Alonso then becomes a rotation risk, the only really, if in an ideal world would Reece James be nice? Yes, but I think you could just play, you could just have Mendy, have Antonio Rudiger, go with double City defense as well, and then just put like I don't know, like Brandon Williams here in midfield. Well, I mean, Ings would go down to Armstrong. If you kept Antonio, you could keep Antonio. I mean, it's perfectly fine. You could have Lukaku up front. Mason Mount would go down to a Rafinha as an example. And then you would find the 0.2 somewhere, basically. Where that would be, I don't know. You'd have to work it out. Unless if it was like you were just going to play 2 up front, and you didn't want Armstrong, or you didn't want, like, you wanted a cheaper midfielder. So let's say like Sarr's fixtures are bad or are not working out great. Then you just kind of keep Gallagher, and then you can kind of pick between Gallagher and Armstrong, but most times you're going to go with Armstrong. You just go 4-3-3. But yeah, Mendy is a bit expensive, which is why, it would be better if you could go a cheaper goalkeeper, basically. But yeah, that's my my kind of thinking for that. Thiago Silva, it's a weird one because I think him and Christensen are the ones that can come in and out of the team. I think Rudiger is a mainstay for sure, because Chelsea, if you like, their back three, they have different roles depending on what position you are in the back three, right? If you're on the left side, so you play closest to Chilwell and Alonso's side, that's Antonio Rudiger. And that defender is the driving defender, the one that can kind of take the ball, make runs up the pitch, and that sort of stuff. And Rudiger plays that role really well. And you often don't see very many other defenders playing that position. That's typically Rudiger's spot. The central defender out of the three, very controlling, the more of the captain of the defense, as it were. And that's either Christensen or Thiago Silva. It's one of those two, because they're very good at playing it out from the back, and being in the center, you have more options to either side. On the right side, that's either Azpilicueta, Chalobah, or Reece James. So Reece James can technically get into two positions, either right side of center back or right wing back. The problem is that right wing back Azpilicueta can also play there, as well as Hudson-Odoi can play there. Christian Pulisic has been deployed there, and then it just causes a whole host of kind of issues. Ideally, you'd have Reece James playing game in, game out. That'd be great. But Tuchel likes to, against more, attack-minded teams, to go with Azpilicueta. Like, I wouldn't be surprised today if Reece James did play versus City. I would not be surprised. I would think he should play, but I think he might be deployed as a wing back, not as a wing back, as a right-sided centre back, to help with City's potential counter threats, basically. And you can allow Azpilicueta to kind of make challenges further up the pitch. I think Tuchel will probably go with a 3-5-2 today. Personally, I think he'll probably pack out the midfield with Kovacic, with Kante, and with Jorginho, a similar system that he went with last week after half-time. His center backs will probably be Rudiger, either Thiago Silva or Christensen, and then Reece James. I think Azpilicueta will play right wing back, Alonso play left wing back, and then his front two will just be Kai Havertz and Lukaku. That's what I can see him doing. So yeah. Thoughts of selling Shaw for Chelsea defender today, but waiting seems smart. It's definitely better to wait. I mean, Chelsea, will they concede to City? I mean, maybe, but who knows? If you're doing it for a hit, definitely not. But definitely would keep Shaw for at least this game week and see kind of what Chelsea shakes out this week. So yeah, wait until after the Champions League for sure. Wait until after the Champions League, because obviously the fixtures get much better. And speaking of fixtures, let's take a look at the season ticker. So we got the Fantasy Football Scout members area up here. We shouted at the beginning of the stream. Yeah, these are the fixtures over the next 5. And you can kind of sort it by difficulty as well. So if you look at the season ticker, it says overall Leeds have the best fixtures and Chelsea have the second best. But once you get rid of that game week 6 fixture, Chelsea jumps ahead. I mean, Southampton, Brentford, Norwich, Newcastle, Burnley. Those look like 5 clean sheets in 5, which means double Chelsea defense could be fantastic. But let's move it back to game week 6 here. Yeah, but after the game today, you can kind of say, who played. But today's game for Chelsea isn't necessarily going to be a representation of what Tuchel's going to play versus these worse oppositions of Southampton, Brentford, Norwich, and Newcastle. It's about finding the player that's going to play in these games. So we'll have to kind of see how that kind of plays. I think Rudiger is probably the most nailed out of all the defenders, with Azpilicueta not just right on his coattail. Whereas I think that if the Champions League game poses more of a threat than a league game, then you might see Chilwell play in the league and then Alonso play in the Champions League, which could be a bit of a tricky one. Which is why I'm half tempted to be conservative and go for just like Rudiger and Azpilicueta, because they're going to play the majority of games. And at this point in time, Alonso is only only 0.1 million, 0.2 million, whatever it is, off Azpilicueta. So that could be just kind of the route to go, which is why I was kind of considering Mendy. But yeah, it is what it is on that front. The interesting thing that I wanted to check was the fixtures for the next 2 game weeks, and I'll tell you why in a second. And basically, I wanted to check these 2 fixtures because we're in the market for a midfielder. and a cheaper midfielder at that, because what we want to do is we want to make our transfer so we have enough funds to go from one of our cheap defenders to a Chelsea defender. Now, if I wanted to go to, let's say hypothetically, Azpilicueta, and I wanted to do it for Tsimikas, we would need to drop Mason Mount down to a 6.2 million midfielder. Now, obviously, we don't need to get rid of Tsimikas as an example. We could get rid of, I would say Veltman would be our probably the cheapest we go, but he has Norwich, or he has Arsenal. Ailing we don't want to play, so I mean we'd end up playing Trent, Shaw, and whatever. So Ailing we could get rid of. So if I wanted to bring in Azpilicueta, so let's say Alonso goes up to 6 million, the most we can spend on an attacker would be 6.7 million. So we couldn't get the likes of Greenwood if we wanted to. We could still potentially go for Harvey Barnes and still go for Antonio Rudiger if we wanted to. That is something we could still do, because Rudiger is 5.6 at the moment, but by the end of the week could be 5.7, 5.8. So what I'll do is I'll put in Alonso, because Alonso is actually 5.8. Whether he goes up or down, who knows. So 6.9 is basically the most we can spend. So the couple of ones that I was thinking of in my head. So Harvey Barnes, both fixtures could be quite good, but we went there early on the season. Didn't really pan out. Leicester aren't really showing me too much at the moment. Wolves just don't want to go there, to be perfectly honest. Yes, they're playing against two bad opposition. Just this is not great. Leeds would be the ideal. 2 home fixtures. Rafinha looks great, or could be great. It's just he's flagged, and not really sure what's going to be going on there. And then West Ham. We do have double West Ham already. I think Leeds' defense is quite bad, so we could potentially go for something very interesting there. And that's why I have Pablo Fornals on the on my watch list, because he was somebody that could be as a budget midfielder. Yes, he would come in alongside Antonio and Benrahma, and we'd have triple West Ham. But I think he could be at least 4-2 game weeks. It would be a very short-lived for sure. The only one that would probably make the exodus on the wild card, as it were, would probably be Antonio. But he would be a cheap midfielder that could come in, and we'd still have plenty of money to basically play with. Really. If we look at the other other teams that are close, I mean, Newcastle, no midfielders really excite me there, apart from maybe Joe Willock, but again, not really interested. Norwich, no. Watford, it's forwards mainly that you want from Watford, apart from Sarr. Brighton, again, not really. Man United, Greenwood would be nice, but again, could be rotated for this Everton fixture. Spurs, definitely not going there. Chelsea would rather want defenders. And also they play City. Everton play Man United. Liverpool have City afterwards. Arsenal, no. Palace, maybe. And Zaha kind of came into my mind there. And they typically do well versus Brighton. But again, what are they going to do versus Leicester? Typically, they don't do particularly well versus Leicester. Brentford, not really going to go there. 2 tough fixtures. Southampton, great fixture this week. Terrible one next week. Villa, 2 bad fixtures on paper. And then City, definitely 2 bad fixtures on paper. So I'm quite really limited in that way, which is why I think Fornals could be interesting. Now, would it, like, my head says Fornals, my heart says Greenwood. The only issue with the getting Greenwood would be that if I wanted to get a Chelsea defender in the next week, I have to literally get rid of Trent, which would be a bit of an issue. So unless I wanted to do it for a hit. So I think Fornals is probably going to be the one I'm going to go for, to be perfectly honest. He is the one that I think I'm going to go for, because he allows me to do a Chelsea defender and pick basically which one I want after the Champions League, because I'll have plenty of money, do whatever I want, And he's only going to be in for a couple of weeks anyway. So, and could West Ham score big versus Leeds and Brentford? Yeah, of course they could. If we look at let's actually take a look at the goals imminent table too. So that might give us some ideas as to who we could bring in. So Trossard, could be an option, but not really the greatest. Diogo Jota, I mean, it's obvious, but again, he plays City the next week. Raheem Sterling, too expensive, not really looking at him. Mbomo, or Mbuemo, however you pronounce his name. Again, Brentford's fixtures aren't great. Trincao and Jimenez, I mean, Wolves have just been disappointing. Trincao looks like a great player, but again, not really ideal. Havertz could go there, but again, City. Gundogan wasn't pictured as the traveling team, so excuse me. Wasn't pictured with I think it was the traveling team or whatever. So not potentially going to go there. Bruno Fernandes, getting too expensive. Bamford, not going there because we need a midfielder. And then Adam Armstrong. He could be one that we could expect to score some goals. Now, I'm actually going to go to public stats table, my stats tables. So you can see the stats tables that I have here. These are all my custom ones. They are all shared. But we have I've created basically what the FF Scout like to call the Whipping Boys table. Now, over the last 4 game weeks, if we sort by XG conceded, you can see that in the top 3 teams of worst teams for XG conceded is Leeds, Newcastle, and Norwich. Brentford is actually way down the bottom here, which is actually surprising to see. So it could be a tougher fixture for the likes of West Ham, but I think West Ham are very good themselves at creating chances. So would the triple up be necessarily bad? I mean, you got to expect that Brentford might resort to the mean, but they could just be great defensively. Who knows? We'll have to see. So if you look at XG conceded, Everton, Brighton, Liverpool have conceded less big chances, but the XG conceded overall for Brentford is less. So maybe they'll resort back to the mean. Who knows? But definitely Leeds, Newcastle, Norwich. Those 3 are not great for any opposition. Now, Norwich's next 2 fixtures are Everton this week and then Burnley the following week. Do I really want a Burnley attacker or midfielder even? Probably not. Do I want an Everton midfielder when they go to play United next week? Probably not either. So then we have Newcastle. Watford midfielder. I have the best one, which is Sarr. And then Wolves. Again, do we really want Wolves? Wolves fixture this week, Southampton. Are Southampton up there on the list? Not really. They're in the bottom half as well. So again, and I don't really trust Wolves overall. So I think West Ham is the one I'm gonna go for, to be honest, because they like to open up, which could make Brentford open up, which means they could score. So having triple West Ham going into that game, especially if West Ham blow Leeds out of the water, could be nice. So yeah, I think Fornals is going to be the one that I go for. So let me do that transfer right now. Just making sure that I don't take any random hits or anything like that. So add Fornals, so we have free transfer. Make transfers, don't hit the free hit. Mount for Fornals, that looks good to me. And then we have triple West Ham. Now it's always not necessarily the greatest thing to triple up on a team. What I'm gonna actually do right now, just while I'm thinking of it, I'll go on my I gotta take a screenshot of my team so that I can post it on Twitter. Live technical things happening. And then screenshot. Lovely stuff. And we'll crop it later. because we can always do that after the fact. So, got that all sorted now. Lovely stuff. Right. So yeah, that's kind of the back ends of a Fantasy Football Scout. Fantastic tools. And this kind of shows you like the really not so great teams. This kind of whipping boys table. I mean, if you sort by big chances conceded, I mean, Norwich doesn't get any better. So Operation Target Norwich could be in full effect. So expect anyone who you have for Everton or Burnley. Like if I had Chris Wood next week, he would be someone who's potentially gonna get some goals there. Maybe I could do Ings to Chris Wood and just not worry about the defense next week. That's also possible. I could even do it for a hit and just go for a one-off. Because I'm not sure what's Burnley's fixtures like afterwards. Oops. Burnley's fixtures are... Oh, they have Man City. Yeah, not ideal. So yeah, could be quite fun. But yeah, that's the back end of Fantasy Football Scout. Use the link in the about section or in the description if you are. Let me refresh the team. There we go. And yeah, Fantasy Football Scout's great. Customizable stats tables, rate my team tool, all that good stuff. It's great. Let's take a look at the old Twitter. Let's see what's going on Twitter. Let's see if we have anything. So FF Scout he's made his transfer. Grealish to Sarr. I'll probably get Grealish back in Gameweek 8 because I love him. Antonio captain because I'm not a sheep, he says. So he is captaining Antonio, which is very interesting. Rafinha got off the coach at this was yesterday. Yeah, I don't see. I don't see anything of any note as of yet. But a lot of managers going for Ismail Assar this week, and for good reason. Gianni Buttici transferred in Antonio after I think he brought in Bamford last week. Bamford is out for Antonio. Ronaldo captain because he has the home advantage, is what he said, over the likes of Mohamed Salah. Foster in goal for him over Sanchez. I think I commented on that on one of the, I think the latest video. Somebody asked me if they would play Foster over Sanchez. So he's playing Foster. He's got Torres. He's starting Torres despite the likely benching. Most scared of not owning is Diogo Jota, and his overall rank is 89k, so he's doing well. I'm just going to see if there's anything else of note. The team news for Manchester United, according to one of the sources that I use on Twitter, and this probably makes the most sense to me. But De Gea in goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Maguire, Shaw, McTominay, Fred, Greenwood, Bruno, Pogba, Ronaldo. So that would mean the likes of Henderson, Lindelof, Telles, Cavani, Sancho would be on the bench. That kind of makes the most sense to me. And yeah, apparently Mason Greenwood is starting. Like I said, if I would bring in Mason Greenwood, but want at least one Chelsea defender next week, so would definitely had to go for a cheaper midfielder. And I think Fornals is a fun pick. He's done well. He's got, what is it, 2 goals and an assist on the season? Yeah. And he could pop up in the box. If he gets a goal, I'm laughing. That would be great. And Leeds defense could open up for 3 or 4 today, so could be quite interesting. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on Twitter to see if we'll keep this open and available to see if we can potentially get anything else useful. But as it stands now, so yeah. Just checking something else here. Everyone's trying to look for Rafinha news. And I guess Samuel Martin, who is a Leicester correspondent, is doing a bit of trolling, and he's saying wasn't expecting that. Salah captain it is, but I don't see Ronaldo getting benched. It's not gonna happen. It's Ronaldo. That's kind of how it works. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on the old Twitter just in case we need any information from that. So yeah. But yeah, this other team lines up. We got Sanchez in goal with Veltman on the double up. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Luke Shaw, Fornals, Benrahma, Sarr, and Salah, with Ings, Antonio, and Ronaldo. And Ronaldo's going to be the captain. He's going to start the game. It's, people on Twitter could say whatever they want, but I mean, that's what I would say back to them. So yeah, Ronaldo's like he's crazy enough to be like a player where he's just guaranteed at least a goal a game, which is just mental to think about. Also, I saw a stat. It's on Twitter somewhere. I can't remember exactly where it was, but basically it was something along the lines of Ronaldo scored the most goals versus 2 opposition in the Premier League. We tied on 8 goals, and that was against Villa and Everton, I believe. So definitely going to be interesting on that front. But if we're looking ahead to what we could be doing next week, so next week, if we go to the transfer page, next week we can take out one of our defenders for a Chelsea defender. So if we just want to, if we know Ayling's going to be, back, and we want to cover up our bench a little bit, we can do Tsimikas out because we have the funds to do that. The defender that I'm probably most likely going to go for is going to be Antonio Rudiger, just because I think that left-sided center-back role, nobody else can play that, really. And in Jose Mourinho's terms,
I think I'm a special one.
I think Rudiger's the only special one that can play there. So yeah, he would be the defender that we would bring in. And then we would look to wildcard, and that would probably consist of double Chelsea defense. Probably Cancelo comes in, maybe a City midfielder. Lukaku would come in as well. Be a bunch of different ways to do it. Like, so if I was looking on a wildcard, for the next few game weeks, I would probably go something like this. Erling, Veltman, Shaw. Goalkeeper wise, we would definitely go Foster. Because he could be playing now. So we'd have Foster. Probably just keep Sanchez just because. Foster's still playing in 9 and 10. 9 and 10. Yeah, we play Foster over Sanchez. We would then have Cancelo. I'm half tempted to just do this, you know. Just go Diaz. And then also go another Chelsea defender, go Reece James. Get Rafinha. Get a City defender, so I'll just put Grealish in there as an example. Lukaku. Go with a cheaper midfielder like Gallagher. Well, I mean, I can go. Can I go Armstrong? I need to find funds somewhere, so I'd have to work out the funds. But basically, some type of team structure, something similar-ish to this, would be what I'd be looking for. Maybe we would just go Dennis, just because he will play, you know, some games. And we'd play 5-3-2 basically, or if we just wanted to go a dud forward, then we could at least have a halfway decent midfielder. So if Torres was the one, basically playing game in game out, Torres, and then we can go for a cheaper 6-man midfielder in that price bracket. That's what I'm kind of leaning. I like the big at the back. I really do like it. So definitely an interesting one to kind of look forward to. Let's check Twitter again, see if there's anything. Yeah, Ronaldo starts. I mean, it's not rocket science. Let's see what David Mundy did, former FF Scout executive or whatever his title was. If given the chance to roll a free transfer, latest roll means I'll line up like this with Gameweek 6 captain armband on Antonio. Interesting. We got some people bringing in Antonio Rudiger already. Ronaldo captained as well, I see. So yeah. Yeah, definitely going to be very, very interesting, for sure. I mean, I don't think it was any in doubt that Ronaldo wasn't going to start. One thing to actually bring up, that over the last couple of game weeks, the last 2 game weeks, Mason Greenwood's only had 1 shot in the box, and that was against Newcastle. West Ham away, he had 0. He's safe in. I don't plan on owning Greenwood for long. This is Gianni Bottici. He's safe in the 11 for now, IMO, but will no doubt become a rotation risk soon. A goal today would be lovely. I don't love these numbers, he said. So, yeah. Mason Greenwood definitely is interesting. FPL Raptor, someone who wrote an FPL book as well. He has brought in Josh King for Danny Ings this week. His team lines up Sanchez, Trent, Shaw, Cody, Rafinha, Jota, Salah, Benrahma, Josh King, Ronaldo, and Antonio. Ronaldo with the armband, with Foster, Williams, Ayling, however you want to pronounce it, Brownhill on his bench. Interesting. Very unique pick there. So yeah, definitely could be very intriguing. Jack Grealish looks like he's starting as well. So some of the team news is filtering in as we speak now. So we're just gonna maintain that. Some people, FPL Crate, if you don't know him, he often trolls on Twitter, and he said, seeing a few in the know rumors on here, Ronaldo will start. Shame, because I was hoping a punt on Matic as a false 9 this week. Constantly making up funny things on Twitter. He's a good follow. He is. FPL Tactician went from Simicast to Livramento, enrolling his other free transfer, which is interesting. So yeah, less than 4 minutes for the FPL deadline. And we'll see if we can bring any more potential team news if it comes through. But I don't think we're going to get any. So FPL Tactician went from Civicast to Liverento, rolling the other free transfer. Wanted to free up a Liverpool spot as I may get Virgil van Dijk, he says. Ronaldo captained. He's got Sanchez, Trent, Shaw, Sufel, Salah with the vice, Doucouré, Benrahma, Greenwood, Rafinha, Ronaldo, captain, and Antonio. And he's got Livramento, Ivan Toney, and Luke Ayling on the bench, and Steele as his backup goalkeeper. So very interesting there as well. So yeah, less than 3 minutes here, just over 2.5 minutes to be precise. So make sure you have your FPL teams locked in and ready to go. I'm just going to refresh mine here just to be sure. So we're going to take one last look at it, 1 through. So Sanchez, Trent, Veltman, Shaw, Fornals, Benrahma, Sarr, Salah, Ings, Antonio, Ronaldo, Simicast, Gilmore, Ayling. Yeah, that's what we are going to go with. Would I play, if Begovic was available, would I play him over Sanchez? Probably not. But we'll keep Veltman. I'm half tempted to put Simicast in there, but if he comes on for 1 point, I'd be very disappointed with knowing that I want Sanchez to keep a clean sheet anyway. If Veltman could get an attacking return, I mean, it is Palace, right? So it is possible. Ronaldo captain, like I said all week, the man just scores goals for fun. Is he a higher owned than Salah? No, he's not. I could just see Ronaldo. I could see both of them being over 100% effective ownership. Ronaldo with the early kickoff. Yeah, I mean, that's not the greatest thing in the world. But it's Ronaldo. And he's also at home, which is kind of a benefactor there as well. I also realized that all of my players are going to be done apart from the Brighton players. So basically I'll have all my players played and done apart from my 2 Brighton players, whereas a lot of players will have Wolves players potentially on the Sunday, so I have to hopefully dodge something there. But the 2 players I need to dodge this week definitely is Greenwood. Like I said, I would bring him in, but if I want to get a Chelsea defender next week, it will I need to free up the funds. And then Jota just for this 1 week. After that, don't really care about him. So hopefully it's a nice low-scoring Liverpool game. So it's clean sheet for Trent, just an assist for Salah or something like that. Unless if he's less than 100%, then he can go whatever he wants, basically. But Ronaldo is going to be heavily captained. So yeah. 10 seconds left on the deadline. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's the deadline. So the game should break in just a second there, and there it is. The game is updating. Will be available soon. That was actually quite quick this time. Bang on the money. Any late team news potentially? Obviously, it's too late now. FPL Salah went over to Livramento and kept his two. He's gonna have an extra couple of transfers free next week as well. His team's looking quite good. Sanchez, Trent, Shaw, Dunk, Rafinha, Jota, Salah, vice captain, Ben Rama, Antonio, Ronaldo, captain, Ivan Toney, Livramento, White, Basumo, Foster on the bench as well. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting this week. So yeah, let's talk about Fantasy Football Scout just one more time. So if you haven't done so already, use the About section or the link in the description below, depending on which platform you're watching on, and get your Fantasy Football Scout membership. It's going to help elevate your FPL game, and we used it obviously on the stream today, and you can see the values of it as well. So let's move over to the big screen. And hopefully we're going to be hearing a lot of this at Old Trafford later. And Ronaldo getting himself quite a big score. So thank you all for joining us on the live stream. Subscribe, follow, share, like, all that good stuff. And until the next one, take care.